Hey students, this is lesson 11.1. In this lesson we're going to learn how to simplify rational expressions. Go ahead and do this vocab and pay close attention to what a rational expression looks like. All right, a rational expression is undefined when the denominator is 0. Value of a variable for which a rational expression is undefined is an excluded variable. So just as a simple one, if we have this rational expression, this is undefined when x equals 0 because 2 divided by 0 is undefined. So one thing we have to look for are any values that would make the rational expression undefined after we simplify it. So, and the way we're going to simplify it is, now just a quick review here. Let's say we have 4, 6. 4, 6 is not simplified, and that's because there's a common factor of 2 in each of those numbers that can be canceled. So 2/3 is the simplified form of that. So what we're looking for is common factors. So basically we just want to factor everything and see if there's anything we can cancel. So I'm going to rewrite this as x plus 3, and then the denominator, I notice there's a factor of 2 that can be factored. And now, when I cancel these, I'm left with 1 as a numerator and 2 as a denominator, so it simplifies to 1/2. But there are some excluded values. Remember the denominator can't be 0. So we're going to look at this 2x plus 6 and make sure it doesn't equal 0. And the way we're going to do that is just solve this. So that means not equal to 0. But we can solve it just like an equation. Subtract 6 from both sides. We get 2x is not equal to -6. Divide both sides by 2 and we get x is not equal to -3. And think about that. If x was -3, then we would have 2 times -3 plus 6 in the denominator, and that's 0, and we can't have that. So we're going to say this simplifies to 1/2, but x cannot equal -3. All right, I'll let you try that. All right, what is simplified form of the rational expression, the quantity 5x plus 10 divided by the quantity x squared minus x minus 6? State any restrictions on the variable. So what we're going to do is factor both the numerator and denominator again. So I'm just going to rewrite. The numerator has a common factor of 5, so we're going to write 5 times the quantity x plus 2. And then the denominator can be factored. What we're looking for is two numbers that have a product of -6 and a sum of -1, and that would be x minus 3, x plus 2. And after I do that, I can see I have a common factor that we can cancel right there. So in simplified form, we get 5 times 1, which is 5, divided by x minus 3. And our excluded values are, our denominator, remember, can't equal 0. And what would make that equal to 0 and we're using the zero product property here. If x is equal to 3, and when x is equal to 2, that would equal 0. So we have to exclude the values x is 3 and x is equal to 2. So we're going to say x cannot equal 3 and x cannot equal, actually that would be -2, sorry about that, because -2 plus 2 is 0. I'll let you try that. All right, we can also find some factors that will cancel. And just to show you really quickly, where if you have two numbers that are opposites, like 3 and -3, actually that does simplify to -1. And that's, we can cancel these two, but we still have a negative as one of the factors. So if we can find the opposites, we can cancel those and make them -1. And so we have to know what opposites look like. The opposite of, just for instance, r plus 3 is, and here's how you would find it, which is, can be written like this or like this. So, oops, sorry about that. -3 minus r. All right, so we're looking for opposites. And the opposite of 3 minus x is -1 times the quantity -3 plus x. We just switch those around, and that equals -1 times quantity x minus 3. All right? All right, so what is the simplified form of this rational expression? So let's just take a look at factoring this first and see what it looks like. The numerator can be factored. Now notice that that's the difference of two squares, so we can do x minus 3 times quantity x minus x plus 3 for the numerator. And then the denominator, we're going to factor that like this. We need two numbers multiplied together that equal -x squared, so that would look like that. And then we need two numbers multiplied together that give us 3. And then the sum of those two numbers has to equal +2. So that would look like this, the opposite of x plus 3 times quantity x plus 1. Now, notice here, right now we don't have any common factors, but these two right here, this one and this one, look kind of close. And if we factor out a -1 from that, we would get x minus 3. And now I can cancel these two. And so what I end up with is x plus 3 as my numerator, and my denominator I end up with -x plus 1, which if I don't want that negative sign in there, I can distribute that and just make it x plus 3 over -x minus 1. And then I still should make sure I figure out what the restrictions are. We can get them right from right here. Remember, we don't want 0, so we can see that if x cannot equal -1, that would make that 0. And the number that would make this here 0 would be x is 3, so x cannot equal 3. So we have to state those two restrictions, and x cannot equal 3. All right, I'll let you try it. All right, so here's how we can use rational expressions to solve problems. The length of a rectangular prism is 5 more than the width w. Let's just make a quick picture of that. The length is 5 more than the width, so we would have this. The volume of the prism. Finish this up here. The volume of the prism is, so w cubed plus 7w squared plus 10w. What is a simplified expression for the height? So the missing dimension would be the height, so that would be this one here. Anyway, so we have an expression, length times width, times height is equal to the volume. And that's W cubed plus 7W squared plus NW. All right, so our height is actually equal to W, the volume, divided by the length times the width, which is W plus 5 times W. Now, if we factor our numerator here, and you can see there's a common factor of W there, so we can factor that W times W squared plus 7W plus 10. And so that W can cancel. And we can factor the numerator a little bit more because we can get a product of 10 using 2 and 5, and the sum of 2 and 5 is 7, so we can write W plus 2 times quantity W plus 5 over W plus 5. Those cancel, and we get W plus 2 for the height. All right, I'll try one like that. All right, go ahead and do the lesson check. That's the end of the lesson. I'll see you tomorrow.